what we've been working through is iteration design, and that's really just getting an idea of everything around your customers, around the customer needs, and trying to identify like what are they trying to do as they move through the process, and what are they, how does your business fit into the whole landscape? How do you solve their problem? How are they currently solving their problems? And all of this, as we said like right in the beginning, is around trying to identify risks in the business model. So how are you finding risks? What assumptions have you made in that? So as you write this stuff out, start thinking about questions like, is that really true? Is that not? And the next step is to go out and kill those assumptions, because everything you've written down on the page is what you think. It's not, there's no real data or evidence to actually show otherwise. And the next step is really to move out into actually go and talk to customers. Go take this precious little idea of yours out of your head and throw it out in the big wide world and see what comes back. See what the customers say. Because that's where you're really going to find out, is it really a problem, is it not? Do they want Whole Foods, or is it more of a concern around their shacks going to be there when they get back from work? So we're going to unpack very quickly customer interviews and just give you a couple of scripts and a bit of an approach on how to do it. So the thing about customer interviews, you have to have an idea of who your customer is to start with. And so some people like it, it helps to flesh out personas, and you build my customer as this type of person or that business, put a business in mind, think that through. And it really helps to analyze what makes a customer a customer. Who are the types of people that have this problem? Why do they have that problem? And so it's really good to map that out, but then ignore it. So in the very early days, have this idea of who your customer is, but intentionally go and speak to some people who you don't think are your customer, because they might also have this problem. Or they might have another problem that's just next to it, but kind of similar, that you can build one thing and solve both problems. And then your customer segment, the way you define your customer becomes bigger. So customer personas is great to try and get an idea of who it is, help you articulate, like, who am I going to go ask questions to? If you create a persona, I need single moms between this age of this demographic, or I'm going to go to the mall, or I'm going to go here. You can find places to go find them. So personas is a great tool for that, but don't let personas limit you. And then you want to, when you're initially talking to people, you're out to collect information. You're trying to learn things that you don't know. You're trying to find out things that they have, or that they feel, or things that are important to them that you didn't think was important to them, and you didn't know was a bigger priority than the problem you're trying to solve. So you want to try and collect as much information around them as possible. And if it's going well, like, try and get some kind of personal information of, can I get an email address, or contact you, or can we get a phone number? We'll let you know when we actually launch the service, or when we're kind of doing around that. But the one kicker, the one rule of the first time you talk to customers, the single rule is to try and not end open-ended questions, and I'll get to that because that was the next slide, is to try and ask open-ended questions. So don't ask a question that's going to be yes, no. And there's two different types of feedback you can get. You can get qualitative feedback and you get quantitative feedback. And what you're looking for in the beginning is qualitative feedback. You're looking for the insights, the nuggets, the information they're going to give you. And so you can't do that via a web form, because it's only a yes-no question. So that's qualitative feedback. That's quantitative feedback. When you go send a web form or get 1,000 people online to answer your survey. But what you really want to do is you want to get qualitative feedback back at this stage. Do you really have that problem? What's difficult about it? How can you ask open-ended questions that get the customer to talk about their experiences, talk about their issues? And so you want to try and avoid things that, like some questions that are classic of would you pay this for the service? Or would you use a solution that helped you find a great hairdresser? Sure, I would. What have you learned from that? Nothing. And so the real kicker of the first time you're talking to customers, in the very early interviews you do, don't mention product. Take your product completely out of it. It's got nothing to do with your product. The first time you go out and talk to people, you're trying to identify what are their problems. How are they trying to solve that? And only later you can see, does your product fill that hole for them? But if you try and go with your product in mind, you're going to ask questions that will lead into that question. That I've got a product that's this app that helps you find these people. Do you have a problem finding these people? The person goes, yes, you've got an app for it, I must say yes. So it seriously degenerates the quality of feedback you get in the beginning.
Yeah, and in the playbook you'll find some links to advice. You'll hear this over and over again, but on the one hand, it messes up your customer, and on the other hand, it messes up you. Because when you think about your product, we said don't mention your product, don't even think about your product. Really just try to put it out of your mind and understand this customer. Because the second you think about your product, your confirmation bias is going to tie in what they're saying to this makes me right. And that is a horrible thing and it's dangerous. And there's a whole bunch of other biases that kick in when you've got your product in mind, that your brain is going to try to make you right and link in with that. So in the beginning, it's this inquisitive, expect the unexpected learning phase.
You're specifically not talking about product, and don't ask about product.
Okay, so sorry, you said ask anyone, like anyone? So if your product is, let's say, it's gender specific, like pads, and
Sure.
why would you talk to guys about the whole?
So then a really great, the really great limitation of that for a startup is time and money, right? So you don't have time to go and talk to 1,000 people. You're only going to talk to 20, maybe 50 if you're good.
What product did you mention?
Pads.
Sanitary pads. So it's quite a problem as a guy buying sanitary pads for your girl, right?
Is what?
As a guy.
For a guy.
If you ask someone like, as a husband, like, how does that go? You might find a vertical there, and it's easier to buy because, how do you
So
choose?
literally anyone.
The person in the lift, like, what's happening? Like, just, like, be inquisitive.
It's like asking a husband where she buys her pads from is really good insight to say, like, does she hide it from him? Does it not? Are there societal issues or relationship issues that you need to take into account when you're trying to market this? Is there a way that you can break down those stigmas? Like, what is it around this area, this problem that we're looking at addressing?
So you really just try to act.
So if that is your product, yes, I would primarily go talk to women. But you can learn some really interesting stuff by asking the guys the questions too.
There's a case study with like Old Spice, the shower gel, where they ended up targeting the ad at women because they found out that even though it's a men's shower gel, the woman in the house buys it for the men.
Yeah. Why do you think they have a half-naked guy like playing drums with his pecs? It's like, that's not aimed at me, I can tell you that.
You might find something like that out.
Go ahead.
There was a business that was on top billing. A lady who started a business, a beard grooming business, because she had issues because her husband wanted to grow his beard and it was too itchy, and so she wanted natural products and whatever. So she was doing from the point of not him, but from the female point of view of your husband has a beard.
Does your husband have a itchy beard? I've seen this.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like if you're looking for a gift, who's going to buy it? The husband's not going to go, like, I'm a manly man, I'm not going to groom my beard. But if the wife buys it for him, it's like, oh wow, this is really nice. So you're actually targeting at the woman, not the men.
And in the 90s, like, auto manufacturers had the realization that it was the twins that were making the big decisions about what cars got bought to the family. But they were the major influencers because the parents were making the kids happy. The tweens, the 12, 13, 14, that age group. Be prepared to be surprised. Like, who makes the decision? Like the husband or the wife? But it's the kids, actually.
Yeah, so you're not going to be surprised and unexpected if you're only talking to the people you expect are going to give you the right answer.
Yeah.
So in the early days, talk to more people. Get out there. This is one of the best customer interview scripts that we've come across. It's really simple, really open-ended, and works with any product. It should be in the lean, it's in the manual. If it's not, we're continually updating and improving the playbook as well. If you go to leaniterator.com, you can see a virtual version and download it as well. There's some stuff, all the links are obviously hyperlinks there, which helps too.
Also, how I interview that customer's link, which is in the book.
Yeah, so there's that link is in the book on the bottom. But it really starts with the most open-ended questions, like what's the hardest part about X? So what's the hardest part about procuring safety gear for a business? Or what's the hardest part around identifying, like finding platforms to discuss women's issues or issues relating to black women? Like, where do you go to find that? What's difficult about it? What's hard? That's a really open-ended question that's going to get some really interesting insights. Can you tell me about the last time that happened? Where did you go? What did you do? Where did you try look?
The last time the problem happened or the last time they did whatever?
So the last time, what is the hardest part about your problem context? So what is the hardest part about having your haircut?
Finding my barber.
Cool.
finding
So
another one.
what happened last time you did that?
He was unavailable, and the guy who cut my hair went a bit too deep.
Sure. And why was that hard? It's because he cut your hair and he went a little too deep.
It just
Right. So what if anything, have you done to solve that problem? Like, how are you getting around that?
I had to let my hair grow out first.
Okay, but now you make sure that you go to a reliable person, right? And you go to the same guy every time. Yeah, okay. And so what do you love about the
What
solution
don't you
you tried? Like, what don't you love about that? Like, what is about that experience of having your hair cut at this guy who did it wrong? What was the worst part about that? What did you not like?
He literally owns my life. He decides he's not cutting my hair.
Cool, so you feel very disempowered.
Yes.
That's I would not assume that someone would feel disempowered around their haircut.
Oh, I do.
but that's a really great insight. And so only when you're asking these open-ended conversational questions will you start finding some really interesting things around the context of the problem that you're trying to solve.